All right, guys, welcome back to another abundance episode. We are here live at the Door to Door Con, and I have my good friend Michael Graziano
What's up?
here hanging out with us in the abundance booth. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Good to be here. Salt Lake City is beautiful, especially in the snow time.
Is this your first time to Salt Lake?
Not my first time. We came here last year for the event,
Nice.
but it's a beautiful city, great people. If you guys haven't been here, you got to check this place out.
It's glorious. Yeah, the skiing up like in the canyons is fantastic. I don't know if you ski, but if you do, this is like the Mecca.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bring us up to speed. So, like, you've traveled all over the world. You've been to 193 countries. Is
Yep,
that correct? And
correct.
the youngest Canadian
Yeah.
to ever do that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had gone through and finished like the last one?
Yeah. So I started my journey when I was 24. Trip to Thailand, solo trip. Figured out the world is incredible. It's cheap to travel, especially you travel through hostels and on your own as a backpacker. And I thought, wow, people from Thailand come from all over the world, and people from Pakistan, from Africa, from Middle East, and tell me how beautiful their countries were. And I'm like, well, if this place is this cool, imagine how cool the rest of the world might be. And what if the world is actually a really safe, cool, epic place, and people are kind and respectful and loving everywhere, and I have nothing to fear? And so on the last day, I made this pact. I'm going to be the youngest person to go to every country in the world. I'm going to do it by age 30. And I'm either going to do this or I'm going to die trying. Those are the only options. And fast forward to 2020, February 1st, I flew from Angola, was my last country, to Oxford, England, to give a TED Talk. And then a week after that, the whole world shut down. That was the beginning of COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, COVID was kind of this like this murmur, I had the entire audience hug and kiss each other and showed the power of the human connection. And she's like, "Aren't you worried about COVID?" And that COVID was laughable.
Yeah.
But then a week after that, the whole world shut down. So
Wow.
It was divine timing after a 6-year journey.
Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
Man, at such a young age, you had such a deep level of commitment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this, or I'm going to die trying. And I'm sure there's a lot of lessons that came out of that trip.
Yeah. 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 You know what? I mean, the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
So you have this chapter where they talk about the general who burns his ships, and there's a term burning the ships, sets fire to his own ships, and his soldiers are on the beach saying, "Why'd you do that?" He said, "There's no way out.
Mhm.
Either we die on this beach or we win." And they were outnumbered 3-1. They end up winning the battle, right?
Yeah.
So the lesson there is everyone's like, "Oh, what's a plan B? What's a plan C? What's plan D?" There's no fucking other plans. Like either you do it or you don't do it. Either you do it or you die trying. And there's a lot of power in that. And, I proved it got me in every country in the world. And I have another exciting proclamation coming out soon. I can't announce it yet, but there's something even bigger than going to every country, if you can believe that.
Wow.
And it's one of those same do it or die, literally.
Incredible, man. Well, this isn't going to come out for a couple of months. So if there is timing, we can time this to come out if you want to. If not, all good. But
yeah, I can share a little bit about it. I mean, it's quite a long story, but to keep it brief, we're doing a documentary on immortality. So I have some evidence that immortality is possible, and especially in our lifetime, in the next 70 years, 60, 70 years. And I'm proving that through nanotechnology, through nanobots, through cryonics, the freezing of the body, through resetting the immune system, resetting T cells, which is already possible, and extending telomeres. Telomeres are these kind of protectors of your DNA. And when your telomeres get weak, your DNA gets weak. And when your DNA gets weak, your cells die. When your cells die, you die. So if you can protect these small, protectors of the DNA through an enzyme called telomerase, technically you don't age, and it's even possible to anti-age. So,
wow,
I want to show using my body as a lab experiment and a test bunny. I want to show what's possible today and prove immortality is just around the corner, if not already here.
Wow. Powerful. Are you doing any of these things now? Have you already started kind of going down that rabbit hole?
I'm just lining up, again, depending on when you're listening to this, but I'm just lining up my production crew and my film crew. This is not a small thing. It's going to be a big production.
Wow.
So we're just getting all those things set up.
Now, for the listeners listening in of how to be taking care of their bodies and doing some of these anti-aging things, not talking about the deep level that you're going to,
Yeah.
like what are things that you've done up until this point to keep you vital, energy high,
Yeah.
immune system high?
Yeah, big one's breath work. You can always use Wim Hof as a base and kind of develop your own style to get the most benefits. Oxygen tank chambers, those are proven to increase your brain capacity and just live a healthier life. So we do those every chance we get. I'm actually going to buy one and just kind of use it every day. I think you got to keep using it every day. Cryogenics, so cold plunging and cold showers. Did an ice bath this morning, filled it with cold water, found the ice machine.
Yep.
Just poured buckets in.
That's the hack for the hotel. Like,
Yeah,
like
the
that's
hotel
that's
hack.
that's the way to go.
And getting good sleep. I mean, I don't drink. I've been 2 years sober since I met my wife. Haven't done caffeine. Been 6 months caffeine free. So I'm just cutting all that stuff out, finding more energy at the end of it.
Yeah.
So getting good sleep. I'm in bed by 9:30. I know everyone here is partying, but I've lived a crazy life, man. I mean, I partied my way around the world, and I've done that and been there. So now it's time to get good rest and be up at 6 a.m. hitting the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, because like going and traveling all over the world and going through all the different experiences that you've had, you've learned those lessons. Now you're like, okay, now I need to go share that with the world. I need to be rested. I need to have the energy. I need to have the force and the agility to be at these events and to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, man. Your story is extremely inspiring.
Thank you.
And to see you and your wife as a power couple is such a beautiful thing to see, because in a lot of relationships we see, like, one is going out and taking on the world and doing these big things, and someone's got to stay home and kind of like keep the house up. So
Yeah.
can you talk a little about how you guys balance that? Because like she
Yeah.
wasn't here, you were here, she's off doing her thing, like,
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I met my wife on Clubhouse. It's this audio app that was big during COVID.
Yep.
And I had a media company called Mindful Media. The reason is because I was leveraging press and media to get a free trip around the world. I had a $3 million all expenses paid trip for free.
Wow.
Because we were filming with Discovery. And I figured out the kind of game of press and media and how to get the most out of it. So I created a company called Mindful Media with the intention of helping mindful people and brands do the same thing, whether they're raising money, building a podcast, becoming a best-selling author, or whatever it is. So I was building a name for myself on Clubhouse. Did Jesse Itzler's launch party, who was here speaking last year. Ali Webb, was on Shark Tank, and this very successful woman founder. Just doing all their parties and events, and found my way to pretty high names and high places. And then Natasha heard me speak, and then she reached out to me, and she DM'd me. I saw this beautiful woman, couple million.
Just to clarify, she DM'd you.
She DM'd me.
All
she
right.
slid in my DMs. For all the single guys out there, everyone's looking for their queen, looking for their woman. Guys, you're doing it all wrong. Just be the best man you can be. Show up, be a 10 out of 10, and your queen will come and snatch you. Straight up. I truly believe that. I was just doing my thing, wasn't even looking for anything serious, and then she came and just snatched me. I went on her podcast. The rest was history. We never got off the phone with each other. We were meditating every night. We were journaling every night, and then I flew to London to meet her, and she said, I'll never forget. She said, either this is going to be a one-night stand or we're going to get married and have a family together. Those are the only two options. She's just as extreme as I am. So I show up, spend 5 days together. We get our names tattooed on each other's ribs.
Wow, you guys are going all in.
All in. We got to put it in ink if you believe in it, right? Everyone's telling me to slow down, everyone. But when you're in love, it doesn't matter what anyone says. Love is love, right? Yep. So it's scary but exciting, and that's what love is, right? So got married, proposed to her in Whistler, and then we got married at a church in my home in Vancouver, and then we got married on Clubhouse in front of 27,000 people the next day. I had Jim Quick as my best man, Ja Rule, one of my groomsmen. We had a bunch of celebrities. John Gray, really famous pastor, married us. It was like this huge thing. New York Times covered it. Business Insider covered it, and made it in the New York Times paper. Ended up being photo of the year. Was the photo of our wedding. And it was big, man. And then she started blowing up. She is so ambitious. Like, I thought I was ambitious, trying to literally conquer the world and go and build this massive company. And then she came in and just made me feel small, but in a good way. And then she's just has this power, and I witnessed this power, and I'm like, okay, let's harness this and let's tell your story. So Mindful Media came in. We helped do all of her press, television,
I was gonna say she came
magazines.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
She came out of nowhere, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah. But she has that ambition, and she cares about these relationships, and she's just really. I mean, you'll see for yourself today when you meet her. But I saw a diamond in the rough, and she'd been through a lot. So first couple of days, we just told her each other all of our problems and traumas. Like,
here it is.
here it is. Here I
Let's
am.
get it out on the table.
Either hate it or love it. Leave or let's do this. And fast forward today, she declared last year she would be the #1 female motivational speaker in the world. It was very much a proclamation and a dream at that point, but we made it real. And I would say today, she very much is on that stage.
I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah, she's speaking next to Jordan Peterson today. She's been up on stage with Mark Cuban, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee. The list goes on and on and on. So big things coming.
So with both of you being so busy now and traveling all over the place, because I ask a lot of power couples this. Like right now, my wife is in Colombia leading a writing retreat, and she's doing her thing, and our son's with grandma and grandpa, and I'm here, and it's like, it can get tough and stressful. And so like, what are some of the hacks that you guys have figured out to really keep your relationship balanced, keep that whole, even though you both have to go out and spread your mission?
Yeah, so I'm just the type of guy that shows up and figures it out, but she's more of a planner, and she's smart enough to know that she needs help, so she hires nannies. So we have a nanny, we have a housekeeper, which apparently are different roles. We have a tutor for our son. We have we're moving to Beverly Hills in LA, and we're gonna have a driver, helping us, and security guard. Like, it's a lot of staff. It's a team unit. And, for people out there who are like, well, that's going to be expensive. Yeah, it is going to be expensive. But you know what it does? It frees up your time, and it keeps you happy with your partner. So what's the value of happiness and time? That's my question to you. And so, it's a big investment, but what can you do with that time to not only make that money back, but 10x it and be happy and in love with your partner? So it's a challenge for those to start looking into things like that and freeing up your time. Time's obviously the most valuable asset.
Definitely. Yeah. And I've talked about this before in front of our audience, but having that relationship with yourself and being in love with yourself is the first relationship that needs to have hierarchy so that you can show up. Then it's with your partner, and then it's with your child. And so many people flip that around where it goes right to the child, and then you're empty, your partnership's empty, and then you drift away in the night. And all of a sudden all of these things have broken down. And people are like, that sounds so selfish. But in reality, for me to show up as super dad, and Aaron will be like, you're living in your super dad power, because when I'm really taking care of myself, staying in my routine, doing the things I love, coming out from these events, when I come back, she's like, you're in super dad mode. And it's because I'm filling my tank so that I can show back up for them in a much bigger way. You know what's selfish? Selfish is you resenting your partner because you had to look after the kids when you want to go and do something for your career. That's being selfish. Being selfish is thinking you can do everything and not showing up for anyone. That's being selfish. So my answer is get help. Get help. There's so many people. Everything you need is within your life right now. I genuinely believe that. It's all here. You just gotta some people need to zoom in a little bit to the relationships in their life and people around them. While they're high in the sky, big ambitions, that's great, but you got to zoom in, get some help in the right places, and then zoom out and go and conquer your stuff. You know what I mean? Big time. It's like those, Tony Robbins calls them like those little 2mm shifts. It's like, you're like right there. You just need a little, just a little nudge, somebody that will come into your life that's like, you're close, man. Just there you go. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. 100%. I'm going to talk about it today when I speak on the main stage about that paradigm shift. Like, we have false identity of who we are. So then we can't ever find the what or the how to get us to where we want to go, that gap, that leap, right? So it's like, it all starts with us. Change that identity. Your eyes just start seeing different things. You start seeing the people in the crowd that you're like, I'm supposed to talk with that person. Well, Rumi said it best. He said, yesterday I was clever and tried to change the world. Today I'm wise and I'm trying to change myself. And that's it, Powerful. Man. The whole world
shifts as soon as you shift your own beliefs. I genuinely believe that. If you're trying to chase trends, trying to chase other people you're seeing on Instagram, you'll never, first of all, you'll never make it there. Second of all, you don't even know these people. And third of all, you know, chasing, the act of chasing is where suffering comes from.
Yeah.
As soon as you go inside, decide who you want to be, work on yourself first internally, and then present whatever you have to the world, that's a totally different ball game. And trust me, the world pays attention. You know, the internet is a central nervous system for humanity, so it feels things when things come out. So instead of trying to understand the system and see what other neurons are doing, just create a feeling that you know, people out there can feel, and everything you'll ever want will come to you.
Wow, that's powerful. And when you say the world, that carries a lot of weight, because you have actually been everywhere in the world.
100%. And it's all love, man.
Yeah.
Go to Libya, go to Syria, go to Russia, go anywhere, and it's all love. You know, I mean, I don't judge you know, politicians and the political board games that are going on, political chess matches. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But when you zoom
it's not
in,
the people.
it's not the people, man. Walk in the streets anywhere in the world, you'll be just fine, and you'll be met with love, kindness, and respect.
Wow, that's powerful. Because yeah, growing up, my parents didn't really travel, and you know, they found out I was going to Hawaii and then going to Fiji and then New Zealand. I met all these amazing people in New Zealand. My mom was like, "These are strangers, and it's so dangerous out there. And where are you going?" I was like,
Yeah.
"These people are nicer than the people back home.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going." And had a very similar experience at a young age where it was just kind of me and that next person. I was like, "Oh, you should go check out Australia.
Yeah.
You should go check out Nepal.
Yeah.
You should go check." And I remember being like, at the time in 2010, there was like some rebels that were moving through like Pakistan and Nepal, and it was like supposed to be super dangerous.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy weren't paying attention to the news. We show up,
Yeah.
and then my mom's freaking out. And we're meeting all the people, and we're like, these people are so happy,
Yeah.
so genuine.
Yeah.
And just the fact that we took a little bit of effort to learn a few words in Nepalese,
Yep.
like blew their mind. It was
Yeah.
like, come into my hut, hang out, meet my family, let's cook food. Like it was just so welcoming. And it was so mind blowing to me at 20 years old. I was like,
Yeah.
what? People do this?
Yeah, I was in Nepal 3 weeks after the earthquake. They had two major earthquakes, if you guys remember. I think it was 2015. And dude, we couldn't show off how beautiful Kathmandu was and Nepal. It was a shambles, man.
Yeah.
People were not in a good place.
Yeah.
So we went and raised some money from our sponsors. We said, hey, the chance to help these guys, and we're going to film the whole thing so you can see where the money's going. So we went and built 100 homes for these communities.
Wow.
And we transported in the goods. And something beautiful I noticed was the whole community came together to build one home at a time. So you think, you know, in a community where no one has a home, you think everyone would try to go and build their own and no one would get it done. But the community all comes together and just goes and builds homes for the seniors first, and then for the families that have kids, and then for the, you know, everyone else. And I found that to be a beautiful display of the power of community, right?
Yeah, I remember that when all that happened, and dude, right on for you for going in and like really building infrastructure. Because like you go to those places and you're connected, right?
Yeah.
Your heart connected, your spirit connected. And so it allows you to actually do more for them, right?
100%.
There was a small village that my good friend that I was traveling with went back and taught English for like a month, and then came back, and then it happened. So after the dust settled, he went back, we raised some money, sent some money, went back to the village and helped them rebuild. It was a small village, but helped them rebuild.
Yeah, amazing.
So it's wild that we have that connection.
Yeah, it's dope.
So, man, you just have such a wild. I mean, I feel like we could talk for hours, just learning so much from you. And I know that a lot of the listeners here will. All of these experiences have, you know, you've seen how media has been able to help you accomplish these bigger things, and really how to leverage that in the right way. You know, a lot of people leverage press and media and Instagram for doing, you know, dark energy type things.
Yeah.
You've really leveraged it to do some really beautiful things. And now that's really created your whole business.
Yeah.
Where when we're teaching people at Abundance to start a business, it's like when you're going through your process and you find what your zone of abundance is versus your zone of incompetence, you're able to really leverage that and bring into the world your gifts and your talents. And I feel like you have done that like extremely well.
Yeah.
And talk about how that's really transformed into your business, and now how you're helping other people do the same thing.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I didn't realize it. It's subconscious, but looking back on it now, my wife helped push me through some limiting beliefs online. I mean, when I filmed a trip around the world with Discovery Channel, I only had about 500,000 people tuned in, which, you know, you could say that's a lot of people. And compared to what she was doing, it was her little toe, you know, and she's like, go way bigger. What are you doing? Like, you know, grow and go for it. So, you know, I'm at, I think, 6.9 million or 7 million or something crazy now. She's at over 21 million on all of her socials.
I saw that.
And
so powerful.
So now I'm doing the same that she did for me. I'm pushing people to go for it. There's a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of imposter syndrome, and it comes out in different ways. No one says, hey, I don't love myself because my mom mistreated me, and therefore I don't believe I'm good enough to have X amount of people following me. Like that, you know, no one's going to say that.
Right.
They're going to say, oh, I only want people who I know and trust to be following me. I only want good quality people. I only want press that I don't have to pay for. And they have these things that stand in the way of their success. And I'm like, show me one successful person that you look up to, and I'll show you a team of publicists behind them. That they spend crazy money to get to where they are. Any single person, like, challenge me. And I know a lot of these people now. I know a lot of these celebrities, publicists. I work with them. Even the top PR firm in the world, or a couple of them, they use us in their back end when they don't fulfill. They come to us like, hey, can you help us out? So, you know, I see the presentation, and then I see behind the curtains and the backstage. The backstage is a bit of chaos. It always is, and the presentation's always flawless. So I see both, and so I just try to help people understand there's a backstage and there's a front stage. And I try to help people understand the systems that create fame and create fortune and online presence. And there's very much systems, you know, there's models and systems, and there's people, trusted people that run these systems, and you got to kind of pay them or give them something that they need to help you. You know, then there's more ways to pay than just money. There's information, there's contacts,
networking,
there's access, and there's you know, trade of services. There's all sorts of stuff, right? So I just like to play the game for myself and pioneer the way for my top clients, and then other people who want to get started, we can get started to some extent, and then just build them up. And, you know, from no one's ever heard of you, and you have a small time roofing company in you know, Oakland, to being on the cover of Time magazine, there's an algorithm to that and a system, and I know that system, but it depends on how much money and resources people want to dedicate to reinvesting in themselves. And that's tough for a lot of people, especially a lot of humble people who like to put clients first. They don't want to spend a single penny on themselves. So I'm trying to help people through that.
For sure. And that's big. And like, just like you said, there's levels to the game, right? There's like, if you're doing the work at some point, when I meet you, it makes sense for us to have a conversation about bigger PR. 7 years ago when I got started, we never would have even be having this conversation. I wouldn't even be in that realm, right? And so that's what we always encourage people tuning in at abundance.io is you have to start doing the work. And that's why we lay out like the foundations for our people. It's like, hey, here's how to go and start an online business, get you up to, you know, 5, 10, 15K a month. Now that gives you a bit of a platform, and you're understanding business, you're understanding the way marketing and press and leveraging and networking starts to work. Okay, now we can actually start talking about, okay, what's the next step from there? And I've already done work with you guys, with Dylan as well. And just your know-how around PR, because it's still pretty new to me in that space. Like, blows my mind. And you guys are so open and pull the curtains back, because a lot of people in PR are like really shady.
I know, right?
They're like, oh, it's 30 grand a month and we're just going to get you some publications. I'm like, what does that mean? Like,
dude, I know.
And they're like, it might hit or it might not. You're like, so you're telling me I'm gonna pay you 30 grand and we may or may not get anything.
Exactly. Dude,
but
it's
we're
crazy.
Working it.
It's crazy. So again, like, I was doing my own thing for myself. And so that's how I got into this game. Like, hey, let me go help others. And then all these top companies came to me like, hey, you're doing it wrong. Like, you guys are doing this like performance-based thing. Like, I don't even know. We don't know what that is. You just charge and then you go and pitch and maybe you perform, maybe you don't. I'm like, wait, what? What kind of system is that? You know, like, I'm an investor. I'm all about return on investment, right? So I'm all about performance. If you don't perform, explain to me why you deserve to get paid. Like, seriously. And so I went and found a bunch of people that believe in that system. And then we created a performance only model. So you put money in a retainer, and if we perform, we get to keep it. If we don't, you get it back legally. And so,
Beautiful.
so Dylan has an amazing company down in Vegas. We merged earlier this year and created Mindful Agency. And so now our offering is everything from magazines to print mag, to podcasts, showing up at the top of Apple Podcasts, which, you know, we can happily talk about after this.
Definitely.
Becoming a best-selling author, Wall Street Journal, USA Today, New York Times bestseller. You know, we do all. I have login access to 400 publications. So, you know, you tell me where we want to go, and then we go and write an article on you. You approve it, and then we can help you out. So it's just like, again, it's just curiosity. Like Albert Einstein said, I'm not brilliant, I'm not smart, I'm just terribly curious. I like the word terribly because sometimes it's a curse that, why do I have to figure out every system? Why can't I just enjoy the performance in the front end? No, man, I have to figure out every system and know the people who are doing it, know how it works, and then help people out in getting through that system. For those who want to see and those who want to get to the top levels of the game, you know?
Yeah, totally, man. Wow, so powerful. And I love that because, like, in marketing, you know, we have over 8,000 students that we've taught how to do lead generation marketing for local business owners specifically. And that's always the model I've taught them. It's like, because there's so many marketers out there saying, hey, here's the retainer, and we're just going to get you as much as we can. And people were selling impressions for a long time.
Yeah. Well, they still do.
They still do.
Everyone does.
I'm going to get you so many impressions. I'm like, what does that mean ROI? What does that mean on a lead basis? What does that mean on an appointment basis? Oh, we got you 80,000 impressions. On what? Where? Where are the phone numbers? Where are
and you know what? Ask for a definition of an impression.
Right.
And ask 8 different agencies what their definition is. You'll get 8 different answers.
100%.
Oh, an impression is when someone sees it. Oh, well, do they see it with the corner of their eye, or did they actually see it?
Did they scroll past it?
Did they scroll past it?
Did their thumb even touch my photo?
Was their girlfriend on the laptop while they were cooking eggs? And that's an impression.
That's an impression, right? Right. It's such a deeper level of that. It's so funny.
Oh, it's jokes, man.
And then awesome. Facebook doesn't even have accurate reporting. That's why Hyros came out, and that's what we use for all of our stuff, because that's actually accurate.
Yeah.
It's like lead cost, impression, like stuff was like, we'd find out it's like 89%.
Yeah, and you know what? AI is going to change the game.
Oh yeah.
AI is changing the game. ChatGPT went from 0 to 20 million users in 6 weeks. Facebook took 2 years to get to 20 million users. So it's just like, AI is so close to replacing everyone in every industry. And so by the time this podcast comes out, your job's been compromised. You know what I mean? So that's the game. So the new game is start getting AI on your team and getting the most advanced AI. There's a lot of stuff in beta. It's not even out yet. But if you go through the right people, you can get access to it. I just got access to a AI virtual assistant. So I can say, hey, I want you to open up a spreadsheet and copy paste all these names on this website into the spreadsheet. And then I want you to go and calculate this profit margin on this event that's upcoming. And then you watch the mouse go and open up Excel, and then you watch it, you know, learn how to highlight, and then copies, paste, and it makes mistakes and it fixes them. And then you can turn up the speed. Once it's dialed in, I can now go 10x, 100x, 1000x speed.
Wow.
And so you know, think about the consequences of this, right? And having 10 of these, 100 of these, 1,000 of these, 1,000,000 of these things working for you, right? You know, start to wrap your head around that.
Copywriting, research,
everything.
Write me a presentation specifically for these door-to-door guys. What are their, you know, statistics? What do they want to know? What's their performance? And it's like, there you go.
Yeah, you could get even more creative than that.
Yeah.
You know, like go and create a business plan for me on how to make $1 billion in the next 24 months. Go and, you know, create a motion picture. You know, there's the levels of this is only bound by human creativity. And I want to push the boundaries of that. You know, hey, come up with a business plan, or come up with a plan of how to obtain an immortal life, immortality. Read every research paper that's ever been published, ever on the internet, and go through every scripture and come up with a plan based on data points throughout time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, come on.
That's
and
wild.
that, guys, that's here now.
Yeah.
That shit's in beta.
Right.
That's not. This is not some pipe dream.
Because ChatGPT has aggregated the entire internet up to 2020 so far. Is that right? Something like that?
Yeah, I think well, again, if that's true, it's already up to date now. I mean, the law of exponential growth is mine. There's a I forget the guy's name, but he said if you fold a piece of paper 50 times, so you fold it once, fold it over again, 50 times, how thick do you think that piece of paper is going to be?
I mean, it's probably going to be multiple feet. I don't
Yeah, a
know.
couple feet, you think?
Yeah.
It's the distance from here to the sun.
Wow.
Yeah. The human brain can't calculate and grasp the power of exponential growth. We're having trouble figuring it out, but that's the power of exponential growth, and AI is exponential growth.
It's like another wonder of the world. And that's what we talk about with so many people get caught up in like, oh, I don't have the time to build a brand. I don't have the time to be with my friend. Like, I don't have the time to do all these things. Like, well, that's when you start putting these exponential like factors behind you with press, with marketing, with a team, with a nanny, with, these other support systems that can allow that to happen. And like we said, oh, it's too expensive, or I don't have the time. You get out of that way of that limiting belief, and now you can have exponential growth.
That's it.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with all this stuff.
Oh yeah, man. We're in for a wild ride. Buckle up.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of jobs are going to be replaced. Let's just listen to Pace More. We talk about it. Any of like contact, chat support, sales, setters, customer support. Like, I feel like a lot of those jobs are going to be kind of the first to go that have to deal with communication. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, the most important part of human history is the agricultural revolution. So we went from hunter-gatherer to learning how to herd animals and plant seeds, management of our resources. And there was great resistance to that idea. Number one, hunters wouldn't have anything to do. Number two, humans would get lazy and we'd be out of touch with nature. And there's all the same, the same shit that's relevant, that the same arguments today.
Right.
When humans sat back and thought for the first time during the agricultural revolution is where science came from: astrology, art, economics, sociology, psychology. Everything came from that moment. Religion, everything started to form from the time humans started to think. So I think we're going through a second revolution right now. AI is going to absolutely wipe out jobs, and there's going to be resistance. And then for the second time in human history, humans are going to have the ability to think. And now we're going to have the assistance of AI, the assistance of virtual reality, the assistance of augmented reality, the assistance of 3D printing. And we are going to absolutely transform everything in this world at speeds that you may not be able to comprehend, just the same way you can't comprehend the folding of the paper.
Yeah. Powerful. Well, man, we're going to definitely have to do another one of these. I got to get ready for my talk because this is really, really fascinating. And as your next phase goes into talking about immortality, when that starts to develop, I definitely want to get you back on once that process is happening.
Sounds good.
Because I'm absolutely fascinated. I know a lot of people listening in are going to be as well.
Cool, man. Let's do it. Let's all become immortal and let's live on and
let's do it.
Let's enjoy the ride. Form a little community of immortals.
Love it. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being here. Mindful Agency.
Yeah.
So check those guys out. If you want real PR, you want performance-based, you want to take your mission to the world and do it in the right way, these are the guys to check out. So thank you guys for tuning in. Abundance.io here at Door to Door Con. Thanks so much for being here, my man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
That was fantastic.
Let's go.
All right.